Hi everyone, so this week for our English writing we are going to start planning our report. So as you can see, I've made out a template and I've saved this to Seesaw for you. So if you have a printer and you want to print this out, you can. If you don't, then you can just copy this plan into your copy. There's no need to print it out really, it's just as handy to do it into your English copy if you want. So you will need your KWL from last week. That'll help you to fill in your plan. So I have mine here beside me. And then we're going to work from our KWL and our research. So probably more so the L section. And we're going to fill it into our plan and start getting ready to write the report. So we're not actually writing the report this week. We're just planning it out. And then next week when we write it, it'll be so easy to write because we'll have all the hard work done. So starting off with our introduction. So you might remember my research and my report was on Germany. So I did write out some ideas for what I'll actually write in my introduction here. So remember, the introduction tells us what the report is going to be about. So what I said is, in this report you will learn about Germany, a country in Europe. As one of Europe's largest countries, there is lots to learn. This report focuses on education, food, and interesting places. So basically, I'm telling the reader what the report is about and what they will be reading about in this report. As you can see, I have a bit scribbled out there as well, and it didn't really fit into the box, but this is just a plan. So it doesn't matter if it's not super neat and tidy. You can, you might have a few mistakes in it, and that's fine. So then the three boxes I have then are for our subheadings. So you might remember the subheadings I picked were education, food, and interesting places. But you might have picked three different headings, and that's totally fine. So my subheading 1 will be education. That's the one that I'm going to start with. So when I'm actually writing my plan, I'm not going to write subheading. I'll just be writing the name of this paragraph, which is education. So this is just a plan, so I'm not writing out all my information here. I'm just going to kind of give myself ideas of what I will be writing about. So what I'm going to write about in this first paragraph, in this subheading, I'm going to start off with the types of schools and the ages of children. So I got that from my L section of my KWL. So I'm going to write about the kindergarten and the Grundschule and then the different secondary schools and put all that information in. Then I'm also going to have a description of schools, so kind of go into detail about the different schools, and then the facts about, the school day and the cafeteria and the homework, and that will all go into that section. So I don't have to write it into my plan because I already have it written in my research. So just kind of the ideas of what I'm going to put in. My next subheading then is food. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with the general description of food. So if I go back to my research, I said it was heavy and rich and there was lots of meat. So I'll write that as a proper full sentence to kind of start off that subheading. Then I'll write some other facts, the facts that I had about potatoes and beer, and then I'm going to describe some of the meals. So I already have that written down in my research. There's no need for me to write it out again. But when I'm writing my report, I'll write it out in much more detail than I have here. But I'm going to do that when I'm actually writing my report. There's no need for me to do it right now. My last subheading then was interesting places. So instead of going straight into the places that I researched, I'm going to have kind of a nice opening line where I might say something like, Germany has lots of interesting places to visit. Some of them include, and then I'll go into describing the ones that I researched, which were Elst Castle, Cologne Cathedral, and the Brandenburg Gate. So in my research, I had more detail about them, and I'm going to write that properly into sentences in my report, but there's no need for me to write all that out again in my plan. I'm just kind of getting ideas of how I will phrase it and what I'll say and what order I'll put it in. Now, another nice thing to have in your report is some pictures or fact boxes. So usually a report would have some pictures and some extra facts. So what I've done here is I've kind of picked out what I'm going to do with the pictures and the facts. And These might not come after the subheadings, they might be related to your subheadings, or if you have some extra facts, you could do them after. It depends on whatever you want. So what I've decided to do is, in my education section, I'm going to put a fact box, and I found an interesting fact there about education in Germany, and it's that homeschooling is illegal in Germany. So not just learning from home like we're doing now. I'm sure during COVID they might have to learn from home, but in most countries, if you want to, you're actually allowed to learn from home, and your parents are allowed to teach you if they want. But in Germany, that's actually illegal. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But I will put this fact box in my education section when I'm writing my report. I might do it beside it in a little bubble, or maybe just underneath it, but it will go in this section somewhere. Then what I've decided to do is, I thought a picture of the food would be nice, so I'll put that with my food section. Maybe I'll get a picture of one of the meals or something, and I'll have that beside it when I'm describing it. And then I think definitely a picture of one of the places would be good too, and I'm going to put that obviously in my interesting places section. Maybe I'll get a picture of Else Castle and I'll put it beside it when I'm writing about that. But if you want, you could also get other facts about your city or your country. Maybe they have nothing to do with your subheadings, and you'll just have another little fact box down the end with some other random interesting facts. And then the last part of our report is going to be the conclusion. So the conclusion kind of sums up the report, and it just kind of finishes it with a nice sentence. So I've written out my conclusion here, and I'm saying Germany is a very interesting country and quite different to Ireland. I hope you enjoyed learning about it. So I thought that was just a nice sentence to finish off the report and kind of sum it up. But this is just my plan, so I could even change my mind before I actually start writing my report. It's just ideas here and what I think I'm going to say. So what you might do now when you're planning your report is maybe try and write out your introduction and have your ideas for that, and write out your conclusion properly. But for the subheadings, you just kind of make a plan of what you're going to say and use your research there to help you with that. But you don't write out everything that you're going to say, because then you're only going to be writing it out twice. And then you might get some ideas for the pictures you'll use, but you don't have to get the pictures yet. You could just maybe have ideas of what pictures you're going to get and what facts you're going to get. Maybe have your fact ready so that you don't have to do any more research. And then next week, we're going to write out the report. So we're only planning it now this week. We're not writing it out. So if you want to, you can print out this sheet and do it like I've done here, or you could just do it into your copy, and your heading would be planning a report, and then you write your headings yourself, your introduction, and then your subheadings, and so on. So it's no problem if you don't want to print off this sheet, or if you don't have a printer, you can write it into your English copy. So take a picture then and post to Seesaw. And next week then, when you're writing out your report, you'll have this beside you, and it will be so easy. You'll know exactly what you're going to do, and you'll be able to write it out no problem.